Normally, I will post videos strictly to my Atlanta Falcons fan group I'm in. But this particular video, I wanted the whole world to see because I want to address someone in particular, Michael Wilbon. Now, I'll admit I am a Falcons fan. Maybe I'm a little biased. I'm a Ryan homer. Maybe I'm a little biased. But you, sir, as a journalist, are not supposed to be, quote-unquote, biased. Now, of course, we all know that's not the case with the media. We see biases all over the place. But you've taken yours to an absolute new level in your arguments against Matt Ryan as an MVP. Your statements, which served to belittle the city of Atlanta and its sports fan bases, and to belittle Matt Ryan, those who support him calling us stat chumps. Stats are the indication of greatness. How do you develop those statistics? It's not just because, hey, Julio Jones ran 4,000 yards with one pass from Matt Ryan. It's not because Matt threw the ball 8,000 times in a season. That yards per attempt is a meaningful stat. It's a meaningful record that he set. And I heard you on 680 The Zone trying to belittle that stat, trying to undermine it. It doesn't mean much. And then you pulled some statistic out of your ass that I've never heard before in my life. I don't know what the fuck you were talking about. Oh, well, Matt Ryan had yards per attempt. That stat don't mean nothing. Tom Brady led the league in flubber to bullet dingle ratio adjusted from 1976 to 2016. He was 20 points ahead of Matt Ryan in that. So the stats don't matter. But you pull some stat at your ass that Pro Football Focus ain't even ever heard of to try to make your case. That's the first problem with you. The second problem is when you tried to make your statement that if you put Tom Brady and Matt Ryan on a playground now that the regular season is over, which again, the MVP is a regular season award. Now the regular season is over and you're going into the playoffs and you got Tom Brady and Matt Ryan on the playground, you're going to pick Tom Brady every time. And then when you were asked if you would have done the same thing in 2015 with Cam Newton as the MVP, would you choose between Tom Brady and Cam Newton? Oh, no, MVP is this year award. I don't know why you're talking about last year. I don't know last year. I don't know why you're talking about the playoffs. And you're very obviously judging Matt Ryan on past performance and Tom Brady on past performance. You don't say, oh, well, Ryan was 11-5 and Brady was 11-1. Why was Brady 11-1? Because he was suspended. You also wanted to say that Tom Brady has a bigger impact. Yes, he had a much bigger impact on the league. You're right there. Because Matt Ryan didn't turn the NFL on its head, getting suspended for some actions he took during a freaking Super Bowl. Okay? And then you want to talk about impact on the field. Let me ask you something, Mr. Wilbon. How much of an impact did Tom Brady make when his team went 3-1 without him? I need a legitimate answer to that question. Now, I know where you're coming from with all this. You're obsessed with Matt Ryan not being something that he is. Great. Oh, he had a great season. He had a great season. No. Matt Ryan is a great quarterback. And it's time for a lot of people to understand that. Okay? You don't join the likes of Dan Marino in the record books with how many yards you've thrown at the beginning of your career. Matt Stafford joined that crowd this year, but that's exclusive. That is exclusive, an exclusive area of the NFL record books where only Dan Marino, Peyton Manning, Matt Ryan, and Matt Stafford exist now. Not Tom Brady. Not even Aaron Rodgers. Throwing touchdowns to 13 different receivers. Is that not a sign of greatness? He beat Tom Brady's record to do that. 10 of his receivers had 2 touchdowns. It's another record that not a lot of people are talking about. They also had 10 catches. Another record not a lot of people are talking about. That 10, 10, and 2. Is it not a sign of greatness that he has set the new record for consecutive games with at least 200 yards passing? That's not something Tom Brady did. That record stood for 20 years. That's not some new thing. That record stood for 20 years. Tom Brady didn't break it. Aaron Rodgers didn't break it. Matt Ryan broke it. And he blew it out of the water. And when you think of that 55-game stretch, let's take out the game number. How many seasons is 55 games? Do the math. For real. It's about 3.5 seasons. 3.5 seasons since he had a game under 200 yards. And that included 2015 when he was learning a new playbook and didn't have a true center. 2014 when, let's be honest, he didn't even have an offensive line. And 2013 when he didn't have an offensive line. 2013 and 2014 he had no run game support. He's one of the most sacked and pressured quarterbacks in the league and had to deal with extensive periods of time without Roddy White, without Julio Jones, sometimes without either of them. And in 2014 in particular, he lost Tony Gonzalez. And all he's done is thrown at least 200 yards every freaking game. That was a record that stood for 20 years. He is the only other quarterback besides Peyton Manning to throw for 4,500 yards with 66% completion rate and at least 25 touchdowns. The only one to do it for 3 or more consecutive seasons. Peyton Manning sits at 5. 2015 wrecked the chance of Matt Ryan going beyond, 3, 4, 5. This year easily would have done it. Last year he missed it by only a couple of touchdowns. But is that not a sign of greatness? There's another record out there for throwing for over 4,000 yards in consecutive seasons. Matt Ryan is tied with Peyton Manning at 6 for number 2 all time behind Drew Brees. Is that not a sign of greatness? Do regular everyday quarterbacks do that? And I don't see Tom Brady's name in there. I don't see Aaron Rodgers' name in there. Now we can all admit, Aaron Rodgers has won a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. And you can make arguments about how good the team is. For the Patriots, for Tom Brady, quite frankly, they are to the NFL what Alabama is to college football. They are quite simply the best team in the league, have been for 15 years. So there's a lot of statements that can be made there. You can throw out how, Matt Ryan has Julio Jones. Tom Brady has Bill Belichick. He's playing on the best team in the league. They went 3-1 without him. That says something. You know what else the greats do? They call their shot. And just like Babe Ruth, Matt Ryan did that just before the season started. When he said we can go out and we can score 30 points a game. It's exactly what he did. Matt Ryan led one of the best offenses in NFL history. And he didn't do it with a team full of Julio Joneses. He did it with guys named Toilolo, Tammy, Talalavea. Oh, good Lord, I hope I'm saying that right. DeMarco, Coleman, Robinson. He was better without Julio this season than he was with him. The 6 games where Julio didn't play or barely contributed, we won them all. And Matt's passer rating was almost 20 points higher on pass attempts not to Julio. So it's time to stop trying to redefine terms like elite and great simply to keep Matt Ryan out of the discussion. Feed your ego and support your biases.